This fight down here is an absolute cracker. Chris KONGO against Luther Clay, WBO global title. Great fight. Both guys exceptional young talents. Both guys that could go their own way. We know it's a tough fight. We know it's a 50-50. But the winner is going to go on and be a recognised TV fighter.
Chris is a very good boxer. Obviously, he's been around for a long time. Everyone knows him, highly touted. So I'm excited.
I believe I'm coming to take the title regardless of what happens, and I believe this is my time. And when it's someone's time, it don't matter what happens, you just can't stop it. And I believe this is the moment Chris KONGO is going to get announced as one of the top welterweights in the division.
I'm ready to go.
This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted to be joined today by both welterweight prospects, Luther Clay and Chris KONGO. How we doing, guys?
Yeah, I'm good, man. All good, bro.
When I turned up at the Josh Kelly-David Avanesian press conference, the fight that was being most talked about was your fight, Luther Clay versus Chris KONGO. Luther, first of all, as the champion, what does it mean to have that kind of reception? Because in boxing these days, usually as soon as a fight gets announced, people can't wait to trash it. This fight was so well received, I can't remember a fight of this same level having that kind of feedback.
Yeah, it was good, man, because obviously as a fighter coming up through the ranks and going through the procedures of fighting the people you have to fight to get to where you have to get to and achieve the things you want to get to, titles, rankings, all that kind of business, money, exposure. Sometimes you get to that point, and then boxing fans, especially like the hardcore fans, are the first ones to get on the fighters or the managers or the matchmakers or whoever for making this fight. So normally people aren't happy, like you said, but this fight got good reception. And normally for me, like, I'm not really on socials like that. I've been told to up it a bit more, but it's just not my thing. So, but I just noticed that my social media, there's a lot of just engagements and stuff, people talking about me, talking about Chris, and it was good. It's a good feeling, obviously, to have people paying attention to you and saying that your fight is the one that they're looking forward to the most on such a big main event like Josh Kelly, and of course the other names that are on there as well, massive names.
Chris, same question to you really. As I say, me and you go back a long time. You're somebody who's not had the opportunities that potentially your talent deserves. What was it like for you turning up at that press conference, big fight, big platform, and everybody's talking about Chris KONGO and Luther Clay? What was that like for you?
I think for me, because I've already visualized these things and, people already put me on that pedestal as a high competitor and an operator. I think it was pretty normal for me. I always knew that one day a fight like this will happen for me. And it happened, man. The reception I got was much bigger than any of my other fights just because of Luther Clay, his ranking and the title he's got. So people are very interested in the fight.
Let me tell you that what I understood today, that no one really gives Luther Clay a chance. Everyone comes to me saying, "Al, you're a professional matchmaker and you know things. What's wrong with you? Why did you take that fight?" And I said to him, gave him a Russian answer. If we can't go past Chris KONGO, what the fuck are we doing in this game? Let me tell you that. That's why we took this fight.
Luther, when this fight was announced, a lot of people at that press conference were kind of surprised that you would take somebody like Chris, who established amateur, somebody who's not been given a lot of the opportunities. Why was it important for you to test yourself against somebody like Chris KONGO?
To be honest, Chris, although he hasn't had the opportunities, Chris has come through the amateur scene, the GB team and whatever, had all the experience that he's had. Whereas for me, on the other hand, I've come from 11 amateur fights, like from 15 to 17. That's basically my boxing experience. So like when I turned pro, like age 20, no one really took it seriously because anybody can turn professional, really. Do you know what I mean? And so like I've come up from that where I'm literally just building people like supporting me from scratch. People didn't know me as a boxer; they just knew me as like me. Do you know what I mean? So like To fight someone like Chris, it was a good opportunity because I've known him because I think like as a boxer, you know like all the other boxers in your division, around the divisions, all that, and people really rate Chris. And obviously, it was just a good opportunity for me because I believe he was on the card. He was meant to be on the card. The only way I was going to get on the card was to fight him. So I was trying to get on the card. For me, it's just the way it's been for me. As soon as I got in boxing, I don't really get given options. I take what I can, and I make the best of it. So, and at the end of the day, fighters got to fight. Like, there's only for a few people that want to talk about fighting. There's only few that are actually going to do it. Do you know what I mean? And you know, that's what I'm about, man. I'm about fighting. I don't really get into the politics or anything. I don't get social media hype. I just want to fight. That's it.
Chris, when was the first time that you saw Luther box?
I've never seen him box. I've seen just clips of him on YouTube. That's about it, really. I only watched one. Actually, you know what? I watched the fight with him and Freddie Hewitt. Well, I was currently at work, so I was flicking through it. So I only got to watch about 5 rounds. And the main fight I was looking forward to was obviously Riakpo. So I saw that fight, and yeah, I was pretty impressed.
So you were pretty impressed with his win over Freddie Hewitt. What impressed you?
I just think the way, obviously the first couple rounds, I would have given it to Freddie just because of the stuff he had done. He was basically just controlling the ring, just using good ring generalship at the start until he got hit. And I think when he got hit by Luther, he kind of went into a negative zone. And that's when Luther must have upped it. And got the win at the end. So, yeah, he done well.
So that's what's impressed you. What about his performance didn't impress you?
To be honest, for me, what I weren't impressed was I know he can't finish. He had him hurt a few times, and he let Freddie see the last row. So for me, you guys all know me, all people in boxing know, when I have a person hurt, they will not see that final bell, never. Anyone that I've hurt hasn't seen the final bell. It don't matter. It's even harder to get a knockout or a stoppage with a journeyman because his hands are always up. So imagine trying to stop someone and all their hands is up and they're throwing one or two punches every minute or two. It's much harder. So, sorry, I was just getting a call there. But I think for me, is just looking for the opportunities once I'm in there. And everybody knows I've got boxing brain and I can think quite quickly and I react to certain things very quickly. So, yeah, that's what I'm planning to do, really. Just wait until we get in the ring.
Same question to you really about Chris. How much have you seen of Chris? Obviously, he's an established amateur. There's not always an awful lot of amateur footage that you can get hold of. Chris's professional career, by his own admission, has been somewhat stop-start. How much opportunity have you had to actually watch Chris?
Obviously, I haven't seen any amateur stuff. I just know what people say that he was in the GB team, so he must have had a good amateur. And then professional fights, I haven't seen any. I think I've seen recently like a clip of, I think the only clear one, or I don't know, I wasn't looking too hard, was the William Warburton fight. There's some other clips that are out there floating about, but I haven't seen anything. But impressed with his, he's a good boxer, he's got good fundamentals, got good speed, good punching power, and yeah, he's a good finisher. So yeah, he's a good fighter all around, man.
Those are the things he's good at. Chris has listed what he felt that were your weaknesses. What do you see in Chris that you can exploit?
I'm going to be honest, I haven't actually seen any weaknesses yet. Like, I've seen the fights that he's had, a few clips. I can't see any weaknesses. It's not like he's been hurt in a fight or he's been behind on points or that kind of stuff. So I don't really know what his weaknesses are, but it's a fight. So everyone's got something.
Yeah, you know why I love this fight? Because the guys that haven't come out and signed a big promo contract, you know, haven't had Olympic backgrounds, etc., etc., they're always looking for a leg up, right? And why a leg up? I don't mean a gift. I'm saying an opportunity. So Luther Clay, our Siesta's badgered me for ages, and we gave him the opportunity in Italy. Good performance, good win, and then Chris Kongo signs with Dillian White, comes on. What have you got for Chris Kongo? And I'm basically looking at all these text messages. I go, hell, that's a great fight. Doubt they'll fight each other. Speak to Dillian. I went, what about Luther Clay? Well, you know, it's an awkward fight. He ain't boxed for 11 months, my kid. I said, Dillian, like, you want an opportunity? You're a man of opportunities. You know how this game works. If you believe you can win, take it. You know what? Fuck it. You're right. We're in. Phone up our Siesta. Chris Kongo. Blimey. He ain't bad. He's awkward. He's under. Like, what do we get out of winning that fight? I said, I'll tell you what you get. The winner of that fight gets an opportunity to go on, be a matchroom fighter, fight around the world, fight on the big stage, fight on TV. And that's what they're fighting for. So it's kind of like a final eliminator stroke, MTK Golden Tournament stroke, all these other things. To basically, the winner goes on. The winner goes on to fight in big TV fights, and the loser basically goes back to where he was, which is small hall shows and probably popping up every now and again with a chance on a big card.
Are you both still as keen as you were when you signed the fight to go straight into this fight first? Luther, you first?
For me, it depends on how long the lockdown lasts for me personally, because where I'm situated now, I don't have any access to a gym. My trainer's in London. The gym's like closed off. So for me, it depends how long I'm out. Like, because I need to stay active, and I need to be in the gym training. There's only so many runs you can do, and skipping and shadowboxing and push-ups in the park and shit. And that's just not the same as actual physical training. So for me, it just depends on how long this lockdown thing actually lasts.
Chris, what does it make you feel hearing that?
Obviously, it's sad times for not just us as fighters, but for all the fighters, because the same as what Luther said, not everyone's got a gym to go to, and coaches, everyone's pretty much in their house. For me, I've got a different setup. So for me, I always find ways, regardless, I always find ways to stay. And like this is true, there's only a certain amount of runs you can do and certain amount of push-ups and shadow boxing you can do. There's nothing better than being in an actual boxing gym. Even where I'm doing my little training, even that is a good place to be, especially during this lockdown. But there's nothing better than just being in the gym.
Luther, is Chris going to be the best fighter that you've ever faced?
Yeah, obviously.
Explain
For sure.
that. Explain why.
Well, on paper, just like I've said about his experience and stuff in the amateurs, and he's an undefeated fighter once again. Yeah, I just think on paper he's the best, I would have thought.
Chris, same question. Is
Possibly.
Luther the best that you've faced?
Possibly, yeah. He's got the title. He's fought more fights than I have, and he's been around. So, yeah, he would be, of course.
It's a quality fight. It is a quality fight. I've shared the ring with both of them, like obviously on many occasions. Chris in the amateurs and through the amateur sparring system, etc. And JB, Luther through the professionals, and I rate both of the guys highly. And that's going to be a one to watch. You know, that could go off on the undercard. That could be a really explosive fight. And them are chomping at the bit. You know what I mean? Them want to be where we are. These are one or two fights away from stepping up to the next level, do you know what I mean? And I believe that's going to be a good fight, man. Luther's a solid pro. Chris is a very good boxer, so it's going to be a stylistic matchup. And whatever one works, whatever one's more effective, it's going to be pulled off on the night.
Who would you give the edge to in the fight?
I mean, I'm probably. I was edging more Luther at the moment, but it'll be a good fight, man.
First of all, Chris, just tell us a little bit about your history with Josh Kelly and working with him, and obviously you faced him as an amateur as well.
Yeah, we faced in the senior ABA finals. We boxed. He got the one up over me, but then after that he was already on GB, and we had And when he was on there, I was having my trials, and I only had one trial to get into the team. So once I was on there, yeah, we just become mates. And it's just, with GB, it's like around 30, 40 fighters, best 30, 40 fighters in Great Britain. So all you're doing is training around the best, and you're getting the best everything. And where with me and Josh, we had a good relationship on there. We'd even stayed in rooms together in certain camps like Wales and stuff in Germany. So we had always been around each other.
When I asked Josh Kelly who he thought was going to win this fight, he said that it was a very good fight. It was very, very close, 50-50 fight, but he gave the edge to Luther Clay. Does that surprise you, Chris?
Nah, because obviously he hasn't seen me fight in the pros yet, which I don't think he has. And I don't know, I just think he's seen more and worked with Luther Clay more as a pro. Because the amateur and pros, even though I got the experience, it's still two different things.
Luther, same question really. Your experience with Josh Kelly, and are you surprised that he's given you the edge in this fight?
I wouldn't take anything of it, to be honest. I ain't gonna lie, like when I spar with Josh, it's very difficult. Not physically demanding, but it's very tricky, slippery, and his style is not very engaging. But he's a very good boxer, good IQ, high defense, and he's strong as well. He's quite a big guy. So like, I wouldn't say I'm surprised, because we've had some decent spars and stuff like that, and I've learned a lot of him. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really take much off it, man. It's, like I said, I've done more work with him, and I'm probably in his gym, so it's probably like a bit of, you know what I mean, just being nice, maybe. I don't know.
Luther Clay and Chris KONGO are doing the Zoom face-off tomorrow, so that'll be pretty good for the Kelly Evanescent undercard. I think that's quite an interesting fight. I've done a bit of sparring with both of them. Done a lot of sparring with Chris KONGO over the years. Luther's a very good fighter, very strong, come forward, very aggressive as well. Chris KONGO a bit slicker, a bit more cute, a bit more adaptable, and more clever. So I think it's a good fight. But if I was a betting man, I would put my money firmly on Chris KONGO to come out victorious out in that fight. I think he's more versatile. He can adapt to everything. He's durable. He's quick hands. He's strong. So I think I'll back Chris KONGO to come out in that one. It's a good pal of mine as well. So yeah, definitely back Chris KONGO to win that fight.
Josh Taylor favours Chris KONGO in this fight. Luther, your thought on that?
No real thought on it, man. Yeah, like I said, no thought on it. Repeat the same stuff I said before. It's probably worked with Chris more, or Chris impressed him more in sparring, whatever it may be, but no real thoughts on it.
Same question with you, really, Chris. I've been privileged to see you and Josh spar a few times together. I know you've worked with him for several camps, several of his big camps. Tell us a little bit about your experience of working with Josh Taylor.
I've been working with Josh for, I don't know how many fights, but it's been over the years now. I remember he was just an upcoming prospect, and now he's a unified champion. So it's been great to be around a camp and a person that I've seen go from being a prospect like myself to being a unified world champion. So it's just been a great experience, man. I always get called back for camps, and like I said, I'm always ready for him to spar. He would even sometimes randomly out of the blue give me a call the night before. So my brother will get a call from Barry McGuigan the night before and ask if I could do the rounds, and I'll be there straight away. Next morning I'm there. So it's always great to work with top fighters.
Are you taking anything from that? Obviously, Luther's just said that he's not taking anything from either Josh Kelly saying that he edges to him or Josh Taylor saying he edges to you. What about you, Chris? Do you feel like Josh Taylor, who's shared a ring with both of you, albeit a different amount of time, Do you feel that that's a plus in your favour? Are you taking anything from the fact that he's picking you to win the fight?
Not really, no, because the fight is different. But if you want to think about it in the perspective of he's at a higher level and he knows what it takes to get there, then your answer's right there, ain't it? From both of the fighters. So yeah, but I ain't really taking that. I just want to get in the ring and see from there.
Now, obviously, I know you both well enough to know what your personality is, what your character is like. You're both two guys who I feel like would be friends if you weren't fighting. There was a little bit of spice, though, at the press conference, which I've not really seen out of either of you before.
You know, he spars everyone, and
no
he's
benefits.
got
I'll be ready.
experience.
I'm telling you, I'll be ready.
Well, you should be ready. You got down there 7 weeks. What you want, a medal?
No, bro. I'm just letting you know I'll be ready, man. That
I
title
don't
gonna be
care.
here, champ.
It's your job to be ready.
Yeah, champ.
I don't care.
All right, champ. You know
Want a
what?
pat on the back for training? Good
Nah,
job.
bro. It's my job, of course.
All right, then. Well, shut up.
You're funny, you know. You're funny. You'll see March 28th anyway.
We're gonna see.
Knows. Everybody knows.
Well, thank you. I didn't expect that, but I enjoyed it.
Was that something that just happened on the day, or was that maybe a sign of the size of the fight? Luther, what do you think?
Nah, I really ain't got no personal feelings. It's just press conference, innit? Like, if someone's gonna talk, if someone's gonna say something to you, you ain't gonna stay silent, and vice versa. So, yeah, ain't no sort of my back. So, I don't really care.
Chris, what about you? What do you think of Luther? What was that we saw at the press conference? Was that just two guys who are hungry, or is there any kind of personal feeling there?
No, there's never any personal feelings, regardless. Even if Luther was talking, like, even if he had an attitude of, let's say, Adrian Brown or Floyd Mayweather, there still won't be anything personal. I'm way too smart enough to, let things get to me emotionally and get to me in my heart. So I know what it is, and I know what it takes to get in the ring. And obviously, I take my hat off to him. So it's nothing.
Let's have your prediction. So, Luther, how does the fight end? Chris KONGO versus Luther Clay.
You know what? This fight has to end in a knockout. Like Chris said, I'm a terrible finisher, but I'll be working on that for you, and I'm gonna knock you out.
Chris?
I mean, for me, everybody knows what I'm about. Everyone that's come to see me fight knows if I have you hurt within the middle rounds or within the first round, you will not see that bell. Even James Cook is who I learnt from. He said, once you got a man hurt, you never let him hear the final bell of that round. So everybody knows if I have you hurt, the fight is done. It is done. So for me, my prediction, I'm going for the knockout.
How does it make you feel, Luther, when he turns around and he says that he feels that he can knock you out?
Shit, he's supposed to feel like that.
This man says he's going to knock you out, Chris.
Well, you could have even knocked out Freddie Kiewit, which I was really surprised of, to be honest. And Freddie Kiewit as well, like I said, I see him winning the rounds, and then he clearly went negative in the fight. So that would have been his time to finish him. Anybody else that knows me, I even got a few texts from a few people saying, if that was you, the fight would have been done in 6-7 rounds. And then going back to watch the fight again, I thought, hold on a second, why didn't he do this and why didn't he do that? But that's Luther. And for me, I like to look at things from a coach's perspective, not a fighter's perspective. And I think that's what's bringing the best out of me as well. So yeah, I just know this guy's got nothing that can, put me on the floor. And I've never in my whole career of boxing, I don't know how it is to be knocked out. I've never been knocked out in the whole 90 fights as an amateur, and in my pro career, I've been hurt before. I've even come hurt, but one thing I could say, I've done this.
Card, we've got Luther Clay versus Chris Kongo, which is, if people are not familiar with either of these two fighters, that's a fantastic fight. Talk to us a little bit about that.
It's a really good fight, isn't it? I mean, we talk about matches and timing and all of this, and it doesn't really matter sort of whether it's up at European level or if it's, you know, just slightly lower down. But I think the key is to get great fights. It's a humdinger that. I cannot wait for it, Rob. I really can't.
Okay, right. First of all, I want to thank you both for being professional throughout all of this, as I know you would have been. Don't get me wrong, we all love a little bit of spice and a little bit of beef, but it's also nice to have a grown-up conversation between two fighters. Just want to commend you both on taking this fight. It's a brilliant fight. If you're watching this video and you don't know Chris Kongo, you don't know Luther Clay, you've got nothing better to do now but watch these two guys fight, because when they get in the ring together, whether it's at an arena, whether it's behind closed doors, this is going to be one of the best fights that involving two domestic fighters that you're going to see not just this year, but for many years to come. So please, if you're watching this, watch Chris Kongo, watch Luther Clay, watch Boxing Social, and we'll see you soon. Before we go, guys, it's always customary to end these things with a handshake. We can't do that, so how about a little fist bump on the screen?
Come on, bro.
Good stuff. Chris Kongo, Luther Clay, absolute gentlemen. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Look forward to catching up with you both soon.